Hello everybody. Today we shall study the poem A Tiger in the Zoo by George Leslie Norris. This poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. The poem provides a contrast in the mood and environment of a tiger when he is in the zoo and a tiger when he is in the forest. The poem written by Leslie Norris explains the agony and helplessness of a caged tiger that lives in a zoo. The poet explains what his life could be if he had been a free animal. The poet has tried to explain about the condition of animals that are caged by human beings for their own fun. This poem shows a vivid explanation of how a tiger would have behaved if he had been free. Let's study the first stanza. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. Let's see the rhyming scheme. Stripes on the first line. Then we have a different one in the second, cage. C is different, the third line C is different, but the second and the fourth one is same. A-G-E, A-G-E. So the rhyming scheme is A, B, C and B. Let's look into the explanation of the lines. The poet sees a tiger locked in a concrete cell in the zoo. It is a very small cage for him. The tiger could hardly move about. He looks majestic even in the cage. The sharp and clear stripes on his body are of large bright color, his eyes shining. His pads are velvet soft. In spite of all his strength, he is imprisoned inside the cage. The pads are the velvet soft part of his feet. The poet says he walks very quietly. He stalks in his vivid stripes. Stalks means he moves about in the cage with different types of stripes on his body. Stalks to move slowly. The few steps of his cage, that is, his cage is very small. The few steps of his cage shows the size of the cage. The cage is only for few steps to cover. On pads of velvet quiet, his padded feet, and he moves about very quietly in his quiet rage. He is angry, but he is helpless here. The caged tiger is angry because he is caged, but man has made him a prisoner for their fun. He is completely helpless inside the cage. He should be lurking in the shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. This line shows us that the tiger is supposed to be in the forest, lurking in the shadow. That is, he must be hiding somewhere, sliding through long grass, slowly slipping, sliding through the long grass, stalking a deer or some other animal. Near the water hole, that is usually all the animals come near the water hole or a reservoir or wherever they will find water to quench their thirst. This tiger will definitely go to find its prey near the water hole. The tiger will catch a plump deer. He is hoping to get a plump deer. Plump means fat. But where is the tiger now in the poem? The tiger is helpless inside the cage. He is not lurking in shadow to hide itself. It is in the open ground inside a cage. Everybody can see him. Let's look into the explanation. Looking at the imprisoned tiger, the poet is filled with pity. He says that the poor tiger should have been in the natural habitat, that is, the jungle, hunting and resting. Then, at this hour of the night, he could have been lying in the shadows of trees and sliding quietly through the long grass. He would then, near the waterhole, wait for some fat animal, maybe a fat deer, passing by. Thus, he would be lying there expecting a fat meal. But here inside the cage, the fat is not there. He cannot find any fat deer. He has to wait for the meal from the office guards. This is a contrast brought by the poet, that look at the tiger in the open forest and look at the tiger which is confined inside the cage. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. Here in the line is just a contrast of the tiger which is inside the cage. He is the tiger which is personified. He should be snarling, that is, making noise and telling about his presence around the houses which is built near the jungle. Human beings have encroached the jungle also. At the jungle's edge, we will find houses. This tiger will be snarling and showing its presence near the house. It will be showing his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. That is, he will be bearing, that is, showing his white teeth, his claws. And by showing those things, he is going to frighten the villagers. He is going to tell how ferocious and horrendous this tiger is. This tiger is showing its true colors. That is, it is the mighty tiger which God has created. It is confined inside the cage by these human beings. But indeed, he is very powerful. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. This tiger is locked in a cell, in a cage. He is personified here. His strength behind bars. This tiger is a very powerful animal with strong claws and white, strong fangs. That is his teeth. Stalking the length of his cage, he is helpless. He cannot do anything except move around inside the cage, stalking, walking inside the cage, ignoring the visitors. There are many people who are coming to see this powerful animal in the zoo. But this tiger is not bothered who is coming and who is watching him. He is ignorant, ignoring the visitors because he cannot show his power in front of these visitors. The poet sees the tiger locked in a concrete cell, helpless. Very slowly and silently, this tiger moves about. He completely ignores and nothing bothers him much. Only his condition is pitiful here. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. The poet has personified the tiger by using he. The tiger hears the last voice at night. That is, the last voice which the tiger is hearing is of the patrolling police car. He cannot hear anything else but only the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes. The poet has given the beauty of the eyes and compared it with brilliant stars, and stares, looks at this tiger looks at the stars above and finds himself in a very helpless situation. He cannot do anything, but he can only stare with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. The poet has used many poetic devices in the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. He has placed repetition at many places, like quiet, quiet rage, brilliant eyes, brilliant stars. This emphasizes the importance of those repeated words. Quiet, quiet shows silence. Brilliant, brilliant shows the magnificence of eyes and stars, the beauty. Personification, the poet has personified the tiger. He has been used at many places. Alliteration, he stalks in his vivid stripes, but he looked in a concrete cell. Alliteration means the repetition of consonant sounds. C and C, concrete cell. He, his. And then we have rhyming. The rhyming scheme for first, second, fifth stanza is A, B, C, B, and for third and fifth stanza is A, B, E, D. Apart from these mentioned here, many other poetic devices has also been used by the poet. The central idea of the poem is beauty. The poet in his poem tries to depict the mental condition and the trauma that the caged tiger feels. He compares the life of the tiger with the life of a tiger in its natural habitat. It shows the power of the tiger at the same time though he is caged and confined inside a concrete cell. Though the tiger is caged, but it still carries the beauty, magnificence, and the brilliance of nature. In this poem, he heightens the contrast between freedom and captivity. He tells how we are destroying and manipulating our nature. The poet also tries to tell the importance of freedom for everybody, because freedom is all that we own. And once we lose our freedom, we are nothing but a caged animal. Tiger is symbol of well-being of the ecosystem. By conserving and saving tiger, the entire ecosystem is conserved. Hence, conserving wilderness is important and crucial to maintain the life-supporting ecosystem. So, saving tiger amounts to saving the ecosystem, which is crucial for man's own survival. Thank you.